morning. What is going on? Welcome into the channel. So happy to have you here always. My name is Deborah, owner of Purusha Holistic Wellness, and this is another episode of Purusha Intuitive, where we're going to do a weekly check-in of current energy, what it's going to look like for us over the weekend via the tarot astrology, any channeled messages that come through, and I will also incorporate some Ayurvedic or holistic wellness things that we can kind of just do to support any challenges, obstacles we might come into along the way. So let's get into it. I hope that things are going well for you. We're in Cancer season right now. We just had a full moon in Capricorn, which actually I'm gonna turn off my, real quick. Sorry, it's been getting a little wonky and I just want to make sure we have no interruptions. So yeah, we're just coming off of that full moon in Capricorn, and it has, okay, good. Checking on audio. I should probably be doing these things beforehand, but thank you for bearing with me. Yeah, so I think Capricorn energy really forces us to check in where we are putting our time and our energy, and if it's really worth it, if we're getting the results that we are wanting to receive. And if we're not, then we have to go back to the drawing board and saying, like, is this something that I can actually do to help? Maybe I can make some adjustments, realign, etc. Find a better approach to whatever this is to bring the benefits I want. Or we also have to be very honest with ourselves around what is just consistently taking from our energy, and it might be time to let something go or release something so you can invite something new in. And that's never an easy look at self, right, to make those evaluations, because we all want to feel like we're doing things right and appropriately and for our highest and best. Also, Capricorn is a very diligent and hardworking energy. It's ruled by Saturn, which is about to go into retrograde. So again, highlighting the places where we need to make stronger commitments for ourselves. It's not necessarily about proving things to other people right now. And I think that that's kind of where the ego's getting in the way. Since moving into Cancer season, we've had a couple planets move into Leo, which is fire energy, Venus, Jupiter as well. And those are very me-centric energies. It's very much like, I want my life to be happy, at ease. And in some ways, it's valuable because when we understand it for what it is, it gives us the power to work with the energy appropriately. What I like about this weekend is we have more positive influences helping us, supporting us. It's going to make some of those challenges that we're running into a little bit easier to work with. A lot of where we're being asked to make changes and adjustments is specifically around places that we know we need to level up, right? Like, okay, fear, anxiety, it's a real thing, but at the same time, we really want to make sure that we're positioning on ourselves in a way where you're tapping into your courage, your strength, your empowerment. You know, everyone, no matter how seasoned you are at what you do, human consciousness has that experience of like getting stage fright or the jitters or anxiety, fear before we're walking into an unknown situation. But that's why we do the work. That's why we prepare ourselves, i.e. that Capricorn energy, so that when the time comes to perform, maybe that's not a great a synonym, but, or assimilation or metaphor, no, simile. Sorry, I had to go through them. One of those, right? English is not my strong suit, but the grammar is what I should say. But it's this value of that when we do, like I said, right? Like when the time comes, you can be strong and confident in yourself because you know you've done the work. You know that you've refined to a certain capacity. And yeah, it might be scary, but it also might be really freeing and really fabulous and bring in some heart honoring things that make you excited, that make you pumped, that allow you to connect with the beauty and the magic that life has to offer. Not to oversell it, but because it is accessible to us all. And oftentimes, they talk a lot about this in Maharishi Ayurveda. We let the overcomplicated things that we can't control consume, absorb so much of our time and energy. And it does take away from the things we want to see grow and build in our life. So we're in that readjustment period, especially with Pluto moving into Aquarius. Pluto is currently in retrograde. Neptune's about to go into retrograde. Mercury's in retrograde. So retrogrades help us slow down, take our time, be easy and gentle with ourselves, because lessons are going to pop up that are like, here, you need to look at this. And I feel like this is already happening. All that to say, you're already kind of seeing places in your life where it's like, okay, like taking a step back, like I was talking about, and really giving yourself the value, the benefit of reevaluating what needs to be reevaluated. So let's start off with an energy cleansing. Just set the tone, set the vibe for the reading. Cleanse out those places we might feel blocked or limited. It's a really good time to set your own intention for the reading as well, especially if you have come in with something on your heart or mind, something you would like Spirit to deliver messages to around. Definitely give that over. Be open to receive. It really is a great way to personalize these collective readings. You can also totally skip ahead if this is not your vibe. You will still receive the blessing, the good vibes, the good energy always. I also do personal readings. I offer a variety of healing and wellness services. Readings are one of them. If you want me to look at your specific situation, how it's faring, where it's headed, or if you're interested in more of that rebalancing, realignment of self, your mind, your body, your soul, I do energy healing as well as Ayurvedic or holistic wellness consultations. Because when we are in alignment with self, when we know ourselves, our wants, our needs, that's where we can tap into our happiness, our fulfillment, our potential. We can manifest a lot easier. And I would totally love to help support that for you in whatever way possible. Definitely hit me up. All the info to get into contact with me is in the description box below. I am currently working on my website, I've had to reacclimate into the busy pace of life, but intentions are there and hopefully that will be up and running soon. But until then, you can email me. All right, I'll talk. So if you're interested, reach out and I will talk to you as soon as possible. All right, let's get into it. I bless you with pure love and light, pure source energy, pure loving grace. I release anything that is not for your highest and best. Any fears, doubts, insecurities, lack of worth, lack of value, pain, anger, frustration, impatience, overwhelm. Cleanse it and release it from our being, so we may see and understand the messages clearly and help to make me a clear and open channel for the collective. Thank you, Father God, Spirit guides, guardian angels, Mom love. All right, so I'm feeling like things for you, like you're in this energy of things feel a little bit more settled and balanced. I think you're being really cautious of the steps that you're taking, how you are interacting with people and situations. It doesn't even necessarily mean that you're planning in advance, because I feel like you're taking things as they come. I feel like I'm seeing you as an observer, as someone who's being a little bit more on the outskirts of the activity that's happening in your life, just to kind of observe, to evaluate, to understand what those dynamics are. I think it is bringing some sort of clarity. The telescope pops out for us. So this is a lot about looking at like long term. What is this going to look like for me long term? What is the value or the deficit that it's going to add to my life? And usually the deficit is part of what forces us to look at these types of situations. But at the same time, it's also providing the opportunity to understand that, like, if you do participate in something, it might become more detrimental, or it might just be more taxing on your soul, is a better way to say it. That energy that limits us, it depletes us. In the physiology, in the body, it actually constricts our channels, our flow of prana, life force, even our circulation. If we want to go on a more physical level, the blood, the circulatory system, it does constrict. That's why love, compassion, and science has even proven this. That's why like love and compassion and joy and happiness are so healing, so profound, because they help open up those channels. And again, I think that we all do the best that we can with where we're at, right? Capricorn is a lot about the hard work. And so sometimes we do just have to face certain situations that maybe if circumstances were different, we wouldn't necessarily choose. But we do the best of our ability, right? Given the circumstances. But I think now you're having an opportunity to connect a little bit more with your heart. The overarching energy for you this weekend is having courage. So those places like I was talking about before where fear is creeping in, where maybe it's a lot like putting you into a position where you're procrastinating or you're not doing something for yourself or for your life that you know is actually going to be better in the long run. And like I mentioned earlier, the energy is really nice for the weekend. It starts off a little bit tense. It's not hugely tense. It's just like annoyances. It's the things that just kind of still pick and prod and poke at you, and you want to be over and done with it, or you don't want to deal with it anymore. It has that annoyance, that frustration component. But as we're nearing the end of the week, the positive influences are strengthening that much more. And it's, yes, the annoyances are still there, but they're not in glaring focus. It's actually that ability to kind of separate yourself a little bit more, which ends up, end of the week, we end up being like, not tension free, but basically it's not feeling so raw. It's not feeling so difficult. You could be just healing old woundings, old patternings. With the ancestors card, this can just talk about generational things that are being healed and the amount of energy and intention that actually takes. Even if you don't understand life through that lens, we can all see places that we inherit patterns from previous generations, or the way that previous generations have imposed onto us. So then we end up living in a certain way or under a certain truth just to make everybody happy. But that is changing. That feels like that's changing. And it's on the heels of this moth. The moth energy is very much the shadow self of the butterfly. So again, the places that feel a little bit more messy and raw, that end up highlighting where we need to spend a little bit more time and energy focusing on healing those aspects. Not only healing them, but understanding them. I think actually understanding awareness is some of the best medicine that we can give to ourselves. Yes, there is that action component that comes behind it, i.e. this courage that you are facing this weekend. Whatever this is for you, we'll look at it a little bit deeper with the tarot. Stinging nettle, I'm not surprised. This is an extremely medicinal plant, but it does have like little prickers. There is a reason it's called stinging nettle. So you do have to be, yeah, okay, this makes a lot of sense. You're kind of like untangling yourself from whatever once was. Whether this is just a pattern, a way of living, or, you know, how you were interacting, engaging with people and situations in your life to make them happier. It feels like you're unweaving those patterns that don't feel life-giving, that don't feel life-affirming, that feel disconnected from self. Ayurveda talks about the disconnection of self being the root cause of disease. That's where it starts, right? On these more energetic, the finer layers of our consciousness. That's why beliefs become things, right? Like attracts like. Quantum physics has proven it. If you're looking for more of the rational side of things. But this is also like an energy of like maybe you understanding that a little bit deeper in your own life, in your own experience. And the pruning shears, this makes a lot of sense with the energy because it's highlighting the places, whatever has been coming up lately with this full moon over this last week, even being in Cancer season. The emotions, the escalation of things that might not be what they are. Neptune's also about to go into retrograde. I think it goes into retrograde the 9th of this month. Let me just pull that up. Yeah, or no, the 7th, excuse me. So it goes into retrograde on the 7th. And it does end up kind of messing with our perception of things because Neptune does rule our more spiritual side, our intuition, the way we kind of connect with that part of ourselves, if we even connect with that part of ourselves. I assume on some level, if you're watching this reading, that is like an aspect of your life, right? But at the same time, 2 days later, on the 9th, Venus is going to enter into Virgo. So that becomes a lot more practical, which will help with some of the fantasy. Neptune is going to retrograde in Aries. And so this is, again, where we need to be a little bit more cognizant and understanding of ourselves and diffuse this need to please others in this time. Yes, if you have certain responsibilities, family, business partnerships, certain commitments that you have invested in that you need to uphold certain commitments to, certain responsibilities. But it's also this thing of like making sure that if you feel like that's no longer serving you, you're also making plans of action in a realistic way. It's not a big F you. It's not like I'm just going to cut this off and not have anything else to replace it. It's more this value of making plans based on what you're sensing, what you're picking up for self. Even if it does force you to look at relationships and dynamics from a lens that is a little more self-focused. That's okay too, right? That's moving into next week though, but even still, anytime we're having some big astrological event, Mercury retrograde, right? They have like the shadow periods beforehand where you can kind of feel the energy. The energy this week has been really interesting. It's been just kind of like a little bit off, a little bit muted, maybe is a good way to say it. It definitely is the precursors of that Neptune retrograde. Okay, this is so funny. It's so, and it might be a little bit hard to feel very clear in self right now. Again, why some of this stuff, why it's not so much about like taking action. Like I was talking about, like that energy coming in, it felt very in observation mode. You're participating in your life, but you're also doing it in a way that is taking inventory of what is actually happening. And it is highlighting some of the messier stuff that does need to change, that does need to evolve and heal. And sometimes acknowledging that, like we've been talking about, that can be challenging, but it also looks like you're ready to do it, you know? And I think it's more challenging because why I was laughing, in our blocked energy, we have the knot and the needle and thread. And both of these cards really signify places where we're trying to patch things up, places where there are fractures or breaks within whatever that a connection, a relationship, a dynamic that you have with people where you have tried to heal it or better it or find ways to improve it. And there are those opportunities, right? If it's available, but this is also asking you to think about at what price you're paying for certain things to be in your life. And again, that does take a lot of courage to look at. Let's see what the tarot says. But again, like I just said, this feels like something that you're getting more and more ready to make certain decisions around. That's why I'm not necessarily picking this energy up of cutting someone off immediately. It doesn't feel right. It feels like this is going to be something that does naturally leave, but also based upon whatever action steps you take. So King of Swords, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius energy, having a really diplomatic perspective around things. Or maybe you're seeing where someone's just been very analytical, but not really putting in a lot of emotion, a lot of feeling. And it's not necessarily a bad thing because the King of Swords is a smart guy, or it's like practical. It makes sense. But it might not necessarily be the best choice, best response for a situation. And it looks like you are seeing that. Even in the blocked energy with this King of Swords is the Three of Cups. So someone is having a hard time extending the hand of friendship or community. It's very like, I'm only going so far. I'm only going so deep. I'm keeping you at arm's length. And maybe you have a habit, a tendency to allow these types of energies into your life because it looks like you're just trying to have a good time in the way, like, you feel way more free than this other energy. This feels like something that's very restricted. Their own control restricts them. And Three of Cups is all about celebration. It's like coming together and celebrating. And they can't even do that. And here you are waiting to have a good time, lighthearted energy. It feels very free. There might even be some jealousy over that. King of Pentacles is in the blocked energy. You might be matching them, but maybe having a hard time to stay. Like, so I feel like the way either party is committing to something is just from very different avenues. But it does kind of look like we're going to look and see what this communication is coming in. Some type of conversation being had, where it looks like it's actually bringing you a little bit more stability. Okay. Ooh, King of Cups. We have another player. Let's look at this. Okay. All right, let's clarify. Let's see what's going on with this situation. There's a few different people or dynamics showing up for you this weekend. It's the holiday weekend. I keep forgetting this. Happy 4th. If you're celebrating, happy 4th of July. It would make sense why, community, like friends, whatever, hanging out is very much in focus. I'm clarifying this King of Swords. We have Two of Wands. Someone feeling like really conflicted about something. Someone's really struggling. I feel like, and again, this does feel like whatever you kind of have been also struggling with. And then we have the Queen of Pentacles. it looks like someone's getting called out for their bad behavior, or like they're getting challenged. Like I feel this energy of someone trying to say something was different than what it actually is. And it looks like people or outside forces are recognizing that whatever this is, someone misspoke, or they were leading people to believe other things. You might be a little bit aware of this. I don't know. Or like you can just sense, you can pick up someone's distance. Someone's keeping you at arm's length, keeping you very interesting. The 9 of Wands. The 8 of Wands. Interesting. And the World. Okay. So it's just a way like someone or something showing up. There's a resistance, and it looks like there's a group of people who are painting a scenario to be something that it isn't actually. And I think it's like making things uncomfortable, or maybe this is stuff that you've been accused of in the past, or like I said, you've gotten yourself in situations that are similar to this in the past. It does make a lot of sense, even just with the astrology and the retrogrades that we're dealing with right now, because certain patterns, long-standing patterns, are no longer working. And that's where there is this emphasis on change or being aware of what those are. This is also the first time that Pluto has retrograded since it's gone into Aquarius and actually stayed in Aquarius. Before, it was vacillating back and forth between Capricorn, which is essentially like that energy of like trying to get comfortable with the work, the changes, the commitment that needs to be made or needs to be done. And I'm feeling, even with like a lot of where we're at astrologically right now, it's not so much about being like penalized, or it's not like Spirit's like, oh, these challenges or these obstacles are because you're not doing it right or you suck or whatever. It's not that. It's more this energy of like, I completed one phase and now I'm moving on to the next phase. And we all know the things that we need to do within self that help us level up, right? Just be a little bit better version of ourselves. Ayurveda, well, in my opinion as well, the foundation of this is how we take care of ourselves, right? Mind, body, soul. Ayurveda is huge into daily routine and doing practices that like honor all aspects of our being, right? Mind, body, soul. Our physicality, our mental, our emotional, and our spiritual. And when we do, it makes life way easier. It makes these things not so hard to see through, even if we do have some level of attachment to them, to wanting certain people and dynamics to see us through a specific lens, but it's just not happening. It's not happening because of whatever this energy is in the background. Something is feeding into someone else, and it's affecting your dealings with them. It's affecting like how situations are playing out. And I think for you, it's been a wake-up call. It's been a reality check, or it continues to be a reality check. The places where you do need to adjust expectations and have awareness around what relationships are in your life, so that you're having realistic understanding. So you're not like selling yourself short or overextending yourself, giving too much. You're already recognizing that something feels a little bit at an impasse with this 9 of Wands. It's at an impasse specifically because of whatever's being said in the background, things that are out of your control. And I think you're just seeing this a lot more, or this is becoming more of a reality, more of an awareness recently. It is also putting you into this position of like making different choices, understanding like this is the path that this is headed down, and it doesn't feel like it's vibing with you. I mean, again, we're getting the pruning shears. It does look like, even though this is, for the rest of the week or whatever, this isn't long-standing energy, but it feels like things kind of turn around really quickly. And I feel like this is because of the decisions that you're making within self. You might need more confirmations, but at the same time, I think that you're getting it along the way. And as I'm seeing this is part of the reason why you're not feeling very stable and grounded with certain aspects of your life right now. Like where maybe, yes, you're light, you're free, you have this ability to kind of just express yourself or not necessarily be confined right now. Also, you want to do that with having a strong foundation underneath, right? Like we all do have certain responsibilities to uphold our life. And it looks like whatever this is over here, it's insurmountable, not because you can't do it, but because you're working against other forces that just aren't seeing it through the same lens. And therefore there is this level of like, not penalization. I don't see it as a direct assault against you. It feels like limitation. It's someone else's insecurities. Again, and this might not even be like the main player of whatever you're dealing with. But this is someone who's like feeling rejected and then acting out of that. Oh, well, collective didn't pay enough attention to me, or didn't say or do what I wanted them to, and now I'm feeling like they don't even like me. So if they don't like me, why should I care? Or whatever that is. It is a little tit for tat. And maybe even a little obsessively, right? Like and I get this, when we feel rejected, it's hard not to fixate on what happened and why. I'm not really sure. Well, here we have some. Let's look. Are there conversations happening? We do have the 8 of Wands, double confirmation on the 8 of Wands. Okay. King of Cups, 10 of Wands, the Hierophant. So something ends up, like a responsibility for someone ends up becoming too much. It is very overwhelming. All right, let's look at this. What is this conversation about? This can even be from a different... All right, 9 of Pentacles. Someone just doesn't have the strength to sustain something. This also looks like it's bringing a lot of change. We're getting double confirmation on the Lovers. Like it looks like someone, we have the King of Cups showing up. Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. Or this is someone who's just like letting their emotions get the best of them. They're letting their emotions dictate and rule the choices that they're making. And it looks like they're struggling in a relationship, in a dynamic. So you have like 2 different scenarios going. And I feel like, okay, interesting. 7 of Pentacles. You gotta, okay, so so it's like, one of these are both happening, but one is going to severely affect the other. You have some choices to make. I'm seeing, again, it's not just this weekend, but this feels like this is more about the future and what the future is bringing. Sorry for that loud booming, booming in the background. No, someone had their music up, but, this feels like it's like one decision is going to affect the other, which, yeah, it's kind of normal, right? But in this way that it's like, if you don't figure something out now, you might be stuck longer in something than what you even want to be. Like, I feel like and this is a lot about preparation, and maybe this is just what this weekend is kind of encouraging you to do. Yes, obviously, I know it's the holiday weekend, so don't hate me for saying this, but it has this undertone of starting to prepare. Again, this might be where it is a little bit of a challenge to do so, because you do just want to be light and free and have fun. And I feel like you've done your share of work, and so giving yourself some freedom feels right. It feels appropriate. It feels good. At the same time, with the King of Pentacles in your blocked energy, this is reminding you that a little bit goes a long way. It's not saying that you have to sit down this weekend and sort out all your life problems, but you could get far by carving out 15, 30 minutes, an hour, whatever you can kind of give to certain aspects of your life, to some problem solving, which I do think immediate attention, maybe not, but yes, in the near future, something needs to be addressed. And it needs to be addressed because of the way it's headed, the direction that it's headed in. And like I said, it might lock you into a limiting situation that you're like not even vibing with right now anyway, is how it feels. Let me look at this. Oh yeah, the Seven of Swords. Yeah, you're not really trusting someone or something. Seven of Swords and Seven of Wands, interesting. Very interesting energies. Like, you're just dealing with a lot of resistance, a lot of like, again, things that feel like they're out of your control. If people have problems, issues, it's not as much about you. And I'm not trying to say like blame, point the finger. It doesn't feel like it's about that as much, but I feel like it looks like there's also other things that are coming in, that opportunities that might present themselves that feel a little bit better than whatever this is over here. Because we have this sneaky vibe with the Seven of Swords, someone stealing, taking, even if it is simple as like taking your energy, draining your energy, asking more of you than maybe what you can give. We have the Queen of Wands with the Lovers. You got some good vibes going, especially if you are single. Even if you're not, this is like you, like your light is good right now, meaning that internal, like people are naturally attracted to it. You might even have a lot of random people trying to talk, or strangers coming up to you, starting conversations, or people just like staring or whatever. And it's like, it's basically saying like, use that to your benefit, because again, Ace of Cups, new offers, pure potential, things that could go in a really powerful and beautiful direction, things that feel like it's actually releasing you. I'm going to pull one more and then we'll close this out. Offers, relationships, dynamics that feel like it's actually releasing you from some sort of stagnancy, you know? Like, it's almost like you're not getting your fair share of the pie. We have Page of Cups, the Eight of Pentacles, and the Five of Swords. So it's places that like, whether this is your abundance or like, it's like, it just feels like whatever work you put into things, it doesn't pay off. And I feel like this is a lot about who and what you are dealing with or surrounding yourself with, or some type of innate pattern that you've found yourself in throughout the years. It's finally highlighting itself in a way where it's giving you the opportunity to have courage to make the changes that are going to honor your heart, that are going to honor your spirit. We've had all the planets move out of Taurus. Mars was lingering in Taurus. Uranus was in Taurus for a hot minute. It's been in Gemini for a while, but it's that Taurus energy has really forced us to work with what we have, i.e. places where we have to repair things over and over and over again. And again, I'm not saying repair is bad or wrong, because I think that is necessary for long-term relationships, dynamics, longevity. We need to know how to forgive people. how to allow that aspect into our life. But this feels like this is a little bit worn out, or whatever this energy is over here is feeling worn out. And it's feeling worn out in the way that like you see it. You can't not see it now, because whatever is being highlighted, ascending spirit, 100%. Your intuition is telling you exactly what you need. It's basically like as if the words were coming out of someone's mouth, but they're not. It's just like written all over them. And again, that's not bad. We make exchanges. Certain exchanges look different. But this is helping you strengthen and grow your community in a new way, in a different way, where some of these things might be intertwined, like business and pleasure, not in a bad way, not in a toxic, reality TV kind of way. I mean, if that's your vibe, go for it. I'm not hating. And maybe I should just say, like, it's just shifting you into different dynamics that actually support who and what you are and what you want to be. And therefore is lifting some of the limitation, some of the places where you have felt restricted or confined. Inspire yourself. I think that's the hardest thing, because it feels like there is some level of comfortability. It doesn't necessarily have to be like, oh, you're bad and wrong, or like whatever that is. It's just more this vibe of you've gotten used to something. It feels like maybe it's not horrible enough to do anything about it. But like I said, it might not feel like that on the surface. But something's manifesting that is going to just magnify the problems that are already in this dynamic. And then it also feels like you're that much more beholden to it. Like you can't, like where now you actually have a little bit of freedom and flexibility, i.e. why taking courage is very important. And again, it can be simple, small steps. You don't have to do anything major this weekend, but just put a little energy into like whatever you're trying to change. It's going to feel way better come Monday morning than if you just like hang out and party all weekend, right? Even if that's not your vibe, right? But even just kind of like, I mean party in the purest sense, like in the whatever. So with that in mind, it's just allowing yourself, those aspects are going to help inspire you. It's going to help propel you forward. It is going to connect you with community, with people and dynamics that really are aligning with you and that are helping evolve whatever you're growing in your life. And again, not to oversell it, but that's what happens when we're around people and dynamics that nourish and support us. It just helps us grow and evolve. And you deserve that reciprocity. You deserve that exchange. It looks like you're participating or a part of dynamics that don't really give you, that reciprocity. That maybe it's more you investing in this, feeling lesser than, feeling subservient to something. And it looks like a lot of that is changing. I feel like you've worked really hard to make the changes necessary, and now you're ready to like be up and running. It's about taking that courage, inspiring yourself, taking that first step. Sometimes the first step is the scariest, and then after that it snowballs. So all right, thank you so much for your time, energy always. I hope you enjoyed the reading. I hope you found messages that resonated for you here. Definitely drop comments below if you did. I love to hear, or just say, hey, share in a little love, little TLC. I so appreciate all the love, all the support to the channel. No, it blesses my heart. I so appreciate it. And I am always sending love and blessings back to you. I will have some videos uploaded for tomorrow, and then I'll be going live Saturday and Sunday. And then next week should be a normal week here at the channel. So stay tuned. Thank you for all the kindness, all the love, all the support. I hope you have a fabulous Thursday. Talk to you soon.